Good evening. Happy Tuesday, Ringside family. It's your one and only Professor LL here without the specs tonight because it's a calm one tonight. We doing an interview and I'm excited. And we're about to have some fun. But let's bring the man of the hour on. He's Impact's own. He's one of my faves because we go back. I go back with the Dusty Squad, so that hit squad. I got to bring him on, but y'all is welcoming on Raj Singh. How are you doing, sir? I'm gonna bring you on. And how are you doing? How are you
Yeah,
doing?
Professor LL, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for that wonderful intro.
Yo, I'm telling you, people don't know the hit squad was dope.
Yeah, this hit squad it was a fun little program there. Kind of
Yeah.
wished it had a little bit more longevity, but yeah, no, I appreciate you bringing that up too, man.
Yeah, so tell us a little about yourself, man. I know you're based in Calgary, but how go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
do the 101.
I'm a second gen wrestler, and I've been doing this my whole life. And I mean, as for those watching, I'm on Impact Wrestling currently, and look like I'm gonna be here for a while yet. So they'll find me here, and they'll find me doing like the local shows right now in Canada, and it looks like things are picking up. So I'll be up in the eastern states the next little bit here, and then I got some international stuff coming up too. So gonna be a busy body with my Impact stuff going on too.
Dope. And to our viewers that are on, shoot in your questions. This is the time. We got them on. Let's hit them hard hitting questions. Speaking of questions. So I'm gonna start off early. So for me, like I said, I've been a fan forever, and I know early in your career, you had the privilege of being trained by your father, Gama
Yeah,
Singh,
yeah,
but also Bad News Brown. That's just
yeah,
bananas
man.
in my book. Bananas. And then
Yeah,
on top of that, you go through that training for about a year and then you hop on to Stampede Wrestling.
yeah.
So my question to you is, what's one thing you would say that you've learned from that time that you just will never forget or that you still use till now?
Um, I get this a lot, and for me, it's like that training with Bad News, more so with Bad News because he was like the technical and push me with the hard work, the dedication, the determination. My dad was more the fine tuning and the stuff at home and
Hmm.
submission stuff.
Okay.
Um, but with Bad News, it was always give it your all and the best you can because you never know when your last match is going to happen.
That's
For
true.
whatever reason, it could be an injury, it could be you get released, you could quit, whatever it is. Every match you have, you want to go out there and have the best performance and give it your all because today could be the last day for whatever reason. And that's something that I literally carry with me every match or every show, even if I'm managing ringside or whatever it is. It's
Mhm.
like this could be the last performance. So I go out there and I give it my all, and I literally go out there and I imagine that Bad News, my dad, and Champagne Jerry Morrow, who a lot of people aren't familiar with, but they were my main trainers.
Mhm.
I always just picture that they're watching or they are gonna watch it at some point and give me some feedback as well. So I just make sure that I'm out there giving my best, and that if anybody is looking up to me, that's something they could take from it and turn around and say, well, he gave my all, so I got to give my all too.
Okay. All right, what about so that's from the training, but what about Stampede itself? Because I'm telling you, Calgary is just wrestling country, man. Are you kidding me? Just technical wrestling. That's Calgary. That's it. That's the stamp.
Yeah, no, it's true, man. Like when we tell people from Calgary, like, oh, you're one of the hard hitting guys. So it's like, yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
that's a good style, man. I like that. The
yeah,
physicality.
no, absolutely, yeah. It's a strong style and like the technical stuff, and I was blessed. I came up. It was Jinder, myself, Natalia, TJ, Teddy Hart, Harry Smith. We were all together growing up, and we had a lot of good local talent in Calgary that didn't get the opportunity. We had Victor from the Ascension as well with us. Like we had
Mhm.
a very
That's
good
cool.
group.
That's a big group.
Yeah, and we had a very good group that like you're doing every Thursday, Friday, Saturday with these guys. Like you have no you're going to get good no matter what because you're working with such good talent. And then
Right.
just the trickle down that we had, like, from my dad's era down to the era just after them, which passed on their stuff to us. And a lot of people call Calgary the mecca of professional wrestling, and it's kind of uh, it's getting away from that right now, just because there's so many indies everywhere else, and people aren't
Mhm.
really taking it as serious. But the same way you guys have it, where we want people to fall in love with it all over again. That's what I'm trying to do while I'm here. When I get to do my local shows, I want people to come and be like, damn, this is that hard hitting technical style. It isn't that flashy, high
Mhm.
spot type style. So that's one of the things that I've taken from the Stampede era, is like that, I guess you can say, that 80s, early 90s style where it's hard hitting, technical, and we tell that story. And as you know, for those that watch me, I'm not like super flashy, but I really want to make sure what I do, I'm good at. And that was something that was really pushed on everybody at Stampede, from hearing stories of bad news and my dad talk about it all the way down to us and the guys we tell afterwards now, in the new Dungeon Boys wrestling that's coming up.
Mhm.
It's you. We want that hard hitting Stampede style.
Okay. So we transition. You talk about the hard hitting, and I mentioned it earlier when I introduced you. I have to know, how did the Desi Hit Squad get started? Because I'm telling you, that was one of my favorite tag teams back then, man. I miss it. I do
I
miss it.
appreciate that, man. Well, Rohit Raju was already with the company,
Mhm.
and then I came in. Actually, my dad came in, and then I came in after. So we had Gursinder, Rohan Raja now on NXT UK. He was
Mhm.
there with Rohit Raju because I was actually with a different company, and we were negotiating back and forth. So
Mhm.
that's what kept me away from the Desi Hit Squad. So it's funny because they were asking my dad some names that they could use for Desi Hit Squad or whatnot, and then my dad and I came up with Desi Hit Squad, and I was helping my dad every way I could. And then when
Right.
he was on TV with them, he's like, "Yo, these other guys aren't bringing you in. You can come to Impact," and then I spoke to the office there. I showed up, and just as I showed up, Gersinder, his contract just came up. So he's like, I'm out
Mm.
of here. He took off to
Right.
NXT UK, and we're
Right.
really close actually. We trained together, we lived
Okay.
together for a little while. So I thought like,
Wow.
oh shit, like I'm gonna be on a squad with this guy, would be cool. And
Right.
I hadn't met Rohit Raju yet, but as soon as I got there, right away, boom, you guys are tag team. And Rohit and I, we hit it off in the locker room, which was cool. Like we became buddies right away, so that helped.
Mhm.
And then they brought Shara along as well. So it was kind of going to be a trio, and
Right.
it was just something like, let's go and make a badass Indian faction here and go piss off the people any way you can. So that's kind of how it came about, man.
Hey, I respect it, man. I'm telling you, that was some good times. So I mean, looking back on it, like I mean, I'm gonna take my individual bias out of it, but
Ah,
what is there anything you think should have happened differently, or you would have personally done differently during that run when you guys were, pretty much heavy hitters in Impact?
yeah. So the thing is, for me, is like hindsight's always 2020, right? And it's so
Right.
easy to turn around and say we could have done this, we should have done this. Um, Myself personally, there are so many things I could have done better, and I hold myself accountable for that. Like there is no um the company could have done this, the company could have done that. If I came a little bit more prepared, uh they would have just skyrocketed with us. So I can take the onus for that, and I can own
Mhm.
up to that. Booking wise, they did a great job. They kept us strong, and then they started. I mean, we were losing matches left, right, and center, but we went out there and we
That was
performed our
annoying.
best. Yeah, yeah. You're telling me, brother. My finishing move for the longest time was staring at the lights.
Right. That was I was so I'm telling you, bro. That's why I said I had to take my bias out of it. I was like, nah, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, but I mean, we were working with such good talent. Like we worked with the Rascals, and we had the
Mhm.
Deaners. Did that program with the Deaners, and then even like the enhancement talent we were working with, it was so fun. And I just felt like, yo, man, I really like this. Where we're at, and then we had TJP in there with
Mhm.
Falaba as well near the end
All
before
about,
I
yep.
got hurt, and like they were trying, and then just as it looked like it was about to turn around is when I got injured. So I can't really say that the office
Ooh.
was gonna or should have done anything differently, because it looked like the
Hmm.
trajectory we were on was turning for the better.
Right.
And then it just happened that a little bit of bad luck with myself getting hurt, and then Shara got hurt right after too. So it was kind of like,
Yeah.
and then you saw what Rohit did by himself. So it ended up being
Right.
good for him. But ultimately, I guess, like, to answer your question, what more could they have done? I'm only going to put that on myself and say, I could always be that much better, look that much better, diet proper and all that stuff. So that's all on me. But company
Hmm.
wise, they did their part. They put this up. I mean, maybe if anything, step a little bit away from the stereotypical
Yep.
aspect of
Yeah.
characters,
Hmm.
because you know, um, like I'm Indo-Canadian, I'm Punjabi, I'm proud Punjabi. Like I can go to India and have my conversation, and you would never know that I'm not from there. But
Hmm.
at the same time, I'm proud of also being, like you said, a stampede guy. So I
Right.
can be Indo-Canadian, represent my people, but at the same time be like, I can be an Indian dude on TV with swag and dress nice, as opposed to like wearing the traditional garb, looking like I'm going to get married every weekend. So I'm trying to get, maybe we're trying to get away from that, but I think
Right.
we're on that roll now. We're on that roll now.
Okay. See, it's dope you brought that up. So here's a question: what's the one thing you would change? So if you had the keys right now to
Mhm.
the wrestling universe as a whole, what's one thing you would change?
As wrestling as a whole,
Yep.
damn, that's a great question, dude. I'd bring back more realism, that's for sure. I'd bring back
I
more
respect it.
realism. Realism is number one for me. I don't want to see, flippity flip all day.
Mhm.
Like my favorite wrestler right now, that's not in Impact, because I mean I could be biased and tell you so many good hidden gems we have, hidden treasures.
Mhm.
Uh, but it's from the FTR. I love watching FTR. That realism, just I'm sold right
Yeah.
away, right away. And
Hey
then
man, they're genius. They're
Andrade,
genius.
yeah, Andrade
Andrade
Almas
is
is
good
another
too.
one.
Yes.
Yeah, he's another one that just that realism is what gets me. So that's what I would do if I had the keys. And the other thing is the stereotypes. I would step away from the stereotypes, um, for everybody. For everybody, maybe one or two here. It serves its purpose, but I would step away from it. And part of my thing was like, for example, a guy like Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali,
Mhm.
when you watch him, he's Mustafa Ali. He's not a brown guy. He's not a
Mhm.
Pakistani. He's not
Mhm.
this. He's Mustafa Ali from
Right.
Chicago, a good
Mhm.
wrestler that you want to watch, and
Right.
that's what we want. That's what we want to get to.
Okay. Well, let's expand on that a little bit. So,
All right.
because you brought it up, now, I mean, for me, I know probably other people, if they do their due diligence, they'll realize, you are cousins with gender. Manja
Yeah.
Maharaja. Um, how is that? Like, how's that relationship with you both?
With Jinder and I,
Yeah.
it's great, man. We talk all the time, and like we stay in communication as much as we can. Like, he's super busy with his acting and his obviously being on TV every week. But we catch up every so often, or it's a quick like, yo, what's up, brother, how you doing? It's like, hey man, I'm busy right now, I'll call you tomorrow. And we don't miss the calls, we don't miss the birthdays, we don't miss anything like that.
That's
And
dope.
then if we're ever in the same city, or it's like, hey man, I'm going to be in Florida at such and such time, he'll make time to go out of his way to come and see me, and vice versa. So it's cool. Like, we're still really close.
Okay. So for both of you guys, I mean, if gender was on, I would ask them the same question, but how, because you have brought it up, and like I said, for us, we're all about, people like, how do you guys deal with that representation? Because stereotypes, I mean, that's all across the board. Like, we all have issues with that. Like, how do you deal with
Mhm.
that though? Because I mean, that's got to be annoying at some point, where like, hey, you got to act this way today, or you got to do this, and it's just like, really, I'm more than just that specific type.
Yeah, no, like the typecasting is tough. It is tough, but at the same time, it's like you look at it, and then you think it's like, damn man, like I want to be out of this mold. I want people to see me for a good wrestler. I want them to see me for a talent on the show. I don't want them to see me for, hey, those are those Indian guys, or hey, those are those X guys or Y guys, whatever. It's just, you know, We want to see, oh, okay, I like these guys. These guys are badass. Oh, those guys are good wrestlers. Or hey, those are the baby faces I want to cheer for. We want to be in that mold.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it does come with a sense of pride because, like, I will have a bucket load of people from India or even within like the Indo-Canadian, Indo-American community that reach out. They're like, "Yo, man, what you're doing for our people is so cool. Like, yo, man, keep it up." And they see me wearing the turban on TV as a
Mm-hmm.
as an homage. I don't do it as a joke. I do it as an homage to our people, to the warriors back from Punjab, like the fighting era,
Mm-hmm.
and and to our culture. That's why I wear it. So I get a lot of positive energy and a positive feedback from people about that. So in that sense, it's also like a sense of pride, and it's like, damn, I'm doing my part to make people happy and want to support me for who I am.
That's huge. I think that's really a good way of looking at it because I mean, when people hear representation, they immediately think of the negative side of it, but there's
Mm,
actually a positive side too because there are people that they see you or they see like myself on TV or just other wrestlers like, oh hey, that's me right there. I can it's that pride that would say, oh hey, if he's doing it, I can do it. It opens eyes to the business as a whole, and it just shows that hey, we're capable of doing other things. I think that's important
100%.
to realize.
100% spot on, brother.
Okay, got a couple more. So I'm gonna shout. This is a shout out to our Mr. Know It All champ, Sir Mac. This is one of his questions. So we
All right.
consider it the Mount Rushmore question. So
All
who would you
right.
say are your top 4 all-time wrestlers?
Top four all-time wrestlers. Kurt Angle, number one, hands down.
Okay.
For me. Eddie is up
Hey,
there.
cool.
Uh, hmm. This is, Randy Orton. Randy Orton.
Okay.
I'm a
Hmm.
huge fan. And then I have to let my bias take over. I'm sorry, dude. I got to go with the Calgary guy, Bret Hart.
Hey, I was waiting for some. Yeah, you
Yeah.
putting Brett over Owen? I would have put Owen personally because I'm an Owen fan, man. Like,
Yo, I'm a huge fan of Owen, and I take a lot of flack for saying like he's one of like the best, but at the same time, it's just he just never had that high profile. That's all it is. That's literally all it is. It was just limited snippets for the guy. Unfortunate events for Owen. He just never got
yes,
the.
very.
That's
Yeah.
all it is. If you put him in the top position, he would have had that position. Ask me to Mount Rushmore in 10 years, it'll probably change though, because there's some guys right now that when I watch them, I'm just blown away. So
Right. Matt, thanks. Appreciate that. If you got any questions as you are watching, chime in. Oh, it's an open door policy. So definitely, if you got questions, let us know. Let us know. Okay, I can respect that. So
yeah.
on that
Hey,
theme,
who's on your Mount Rushmore, if you don't mind me asking? So
okay. So I got for me, it's Owen.
okay, it's nice.
He's one of my all time favorites. I'm a big rock fan.
Mhm.
Definitely Eddie. And I gotta go. Honestly, it's a name you don't hear a lot of, but I was a big fan of Ezekiel Jackson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
again, he's kind of one of those where it's just like you said, he and was crazy in that short time he was being pushed, and I was so excited, because I was thinking they were gonna put the belt on him, but it's the business for you. So it's one of those what ifs.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's changed, but there's certain ones that are just near and dear to my heart. Like I swear, Owen he's just that guy. Just the technical. I just love technical wrestling, so it's like
He was so good. Have you ever
it's
seen
good.
any of his Stampede stuff?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Unreal. Unreal, man. I could watch that all day.
Yeah, he's one of those where I always felt like when he was just free to be himself, it was just great to see. Because I mean, that's the kind of where I just kind of feel I could be wrong, but it's something as a fan watching the sport, I feel like certain wrestlers are kind of being put in a box and said, hey, you can only do X, Y, Z. You can only talk like this. I'm like, but that's not fair. You should just let them blossom into who they are. Because if you let them do that, you're gonna learn more about that individual.
I know exactly what you mean, brother. You don't have to say any more to me.
I got
You
you.
have to-
Okay.
Sorry, my
So
headset looks like it's dying, so I'm just recharging one of them here. So
okay. So here's one for you. So I know in your career you've won some titles.
mm.
You've had some really good matches. What would you say has been your favorite title that you won, and also favorite match that you were a part of?
So favorite title, it's got to be in Stampede. It's the British Commonwealth mid heavyweight, and that's because
Hmm.
my dad had it the most amount of times, and I'm a big
Okay.
mark for history, and I'm a big mark for like legacy, and
Hmm.
it was huge. Like for me at the time, I was so happy to get that title. And my cousin's laughing, as a big joke to him. He's like, "Ah, you're a mark. Whatever. It's just it's a heavier suitcase now." And then we had other people, like
That's
I
cool.
told my dad. My dad was like, "Yeah, that's cool." And then
Hmm.
now, looking at it so many years later, like in the history books, I was the last person to have that title, and my dad had it.
Wow.
And my dad had it like so many times in Stampede. So that kind of stuff I enjoy. So that was
Cherish.
my
Yeah.
favorite title.
That's
But you
dope.
say, did you ask best match too?
Yes. You've
Man,
had some good ones, man. I'm telling you, you've had
I
some pretty good ones.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. It's tough. It's tough. Man, so many good matches. Like, um, honestly, there's so many. But like when we first started, it was Raj Jinder and I. His name is also
Hmm.
Raj, just for those that don't know. Jinder and I, we worked with TJ and Harry. We had just like I'd known them growing up,
Right.
but it was the first, and I was a hockey player my whole life. I thought I was going to be in the
Wow.
NHL. And I I was gonna play NCAA and all this, and I just turned out to go, dude, wrestling's where my heart is at. So I go, and
Hmm.
then leaders are like, hey man, you're wrestling now, yada yada yada. I show up to the arena, and they're like, it's you guys with Harry and TJ first night, and we were like, oh
Whew.
man, we were like
Wow. That's
tripping,
history. Yeah. I'm like,
and
okay.
those matches were so good right off the bat that they wanted to work with us like continually. And then there was one,
Mhm.
Harry went to Japan, then Teddy came in, so we worked with Teddy and TJ.
Wow.
So right away, we're working like with these guys, and then we went on a tour, and then we worked with Kenny Omega on the first night. So we're literally working with just stars right off the bat.
Right.
But yeah, I would have to for sure, dude. It's kind of corny to say, but those first sets of matches that we had with the Stampede Bulldogs, TJ and Harry, nothing
Hmm.
really matched them. But I think that might just be something in our own mind, or mine especially, because it's like they were so good right off the bat, and in that Stampede way, it was hard hitting, told the story. All we knew was the finish. Nothing was planned. So we just
Mm,
come out, had a boom, great match, flawless.
that's crazy. See, the fact
Mm,
that you said you didn't, all you knew was the finish. See, now
mm,
that's crazy. So you just pretty much just making up. Did you guys like talk about it ahead of time, or you just kind of just showed up to the match and
mm.
went just?
We showed up. We didn't even know we were going to wrestle that night because we just brought our gear, and Bruce Hart had told us like, "Hey, we want to use you, but we're not sure. We might have your dad at the ringside when he comes next week, and blah 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 blah." Next thing you know, somebody didn't show up, and like, "Hey, Stampede Bulldog versus the two Sing Boys." We're like, "Oh, okay, cool. Main event, first night."
Okay, that's dope. And well, so we do got a question coming in from Matt. His question to you is how does it feel to be in Impact so far?
Um, I love it, man. I'm blessed. It's a company that gets a lot of negative energy and a lot of scrutiny from people around the world and a lot of people watching, which is something I don't really understand because when you watch the product, there's so many good talents out there,
Mhm.
and the story writing is actually really good. So when people give it when they free their mind of the concept of professional wrestling is WWE and then everybody else, they're gonna see it's a good show. So being an Impact star for me is like, you know, I chose to be here. I chose to be here, and the fact that they wanted me here
Mhm.
speaks volumes because they only have so many roster spots, and I've got one. And there's only that many people in the world that have that position, and I'm one of them. So I take it with I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
Right.
And for me, it's like being an Impact star. It's great because what's my life revolve around? Training, getting better, and making sure that I'm at the show again, doing my best because I never know when it's gonna be my last one.
Okay. It's a dope answer. So, I mean, this one I gotta ask on behalf of my wife. She's Queen Rose. She brings the thorns, but this is always her question. So, basically, in your spare time when you're not wrestling, what do you do for self care? How do you relax? Do you work out? I mean, catch a movie.
Yeah, so I'm gonna switch my headphones. This one just gave me the little gimmick. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, perfect. Sorry. Um, so yeah, I'm in the gym. I'm in the gym 6 days a week, and then I'm in the ring like 5 to 6 days a week as well. I have a ring here in Calgary. If I'm not on the road, I'm in the ring. I'm at the gym. Uh, I'm with I see my parents as much as possible, my mom and dad. So I hang out with them. And what a lot of people don't know about me, I mean, it might be not common knowledge, but some people might know I own a hockey league. So I'm actually the commissioner of a hockey league, a men's hockey league in Calgary.
Mm,
So I
that's
spend a
dope.
lot of my
See, the
time
fact that
there.
yeah,
Just
hockey, that's cool. How long have you
I
owned
like
that?
making
Speak
sure.
on it. Speak on it.
I've been doing that for 15 years. So,
Wow.
like, yeah, a thing that a lot of people don't know, like I said, hockey was like my first love, well, second love after wrestling, then went back. But I played in the World Cup ball hockey for Team India. Um, so I did that,
Hmm.
and then I used to organize playing like street hockey with all the kids in our community, but then we
Mm.
would run it like this school versus that school, this community versus that community, and we started making little tournaments on the weekends. And I'm just like, yo, dude, I'm gonna start making money. I was like 12 years old. I was like, I'm gonna start making money out of this. And as soon as I was old enough, got the arena,
Hmm.
locked down the contracts, the sponsors, and I've been running it ever since. So it's been
Nice.
15 years, and it's called the Royal Hockey League. Yeah, and it's basically like WWE, like pushing storylines and stuff like that, and then we
Mhm.
just have like the guys go play hockey and have their fun.
That sounds fun. That actually sounds a lot of fun. And as you can
Yeah.
see, Matt's over here. He's saying he's glad
I'm a big
the
video gamer
league
too.
got
If
booked.
anybody wants to get beat down and Madden, just hit me up.
Ooh, you're gonna have to put your socials out there. We gonna get to that. Okay, okay, Madden. From one
Yeah,
Madden fan to another, salute.
yeah, big Madden. I'm in a league with 32 users, bro. Like I take my Madden
Whoa.
serious.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I might have to stay on my lane then. Nah, that's dope. Okay, so let's see what I got. Well, I mean, I got one more question for you, and
Of course.
for me, it's something I always like to ask. When your career's up, because this is how we always end. What do you want your legacy to be? Like when you're done and the boots, you hang up your boots, you call it a
Mm.
career.
Mm, it's a good question, man. Like I'm a little bit of ways of uh thinking of hanging up the boots.
Hmm.
I do know what my my post career looks like in the sense of like uh, I'm going to own a wrestling school where I teach people the technical stuff and like the old school Stampede way. That's going to happen for sure. And I'm going to also join that with like a drop-in type center where I'm helping the troubled youth and then getting them, playing hockey, playing football,
Hmm.
playing basketball, whatever it is to get out of the troubled area, to get off the streets and stuff like that. So that's where that would be. Plus, I'm acting as well now, so I've been in a couple
Okay.
commercials and some movies and stuff. So I'm doing that, and that's what the post career is going to look like. But as for like a legacy or um, just like what it's like when I hang up the boots for the people that I work with, have worked with, going to work with in the future, I want them to turn around and say, yo, he was one of the good brothers that I could hang out with. I could work with them. It was fun to work with them. It was safe to work with them. It was good to work with them. And that they could look at me and say, I want to work with that guy. That's what I look at for that aspect. When it comes to the management, the owners, writers, anything like that, I want them to turn around and say, I could trust this guy. put him in a position to succeed, I can rely on him. That's where I want the company to look at. And then from the fans' perspective, I want as a heel, I want them to hate me, but hate me as a character, not hate me for who I am or thinking that I suck.
Yeah, us fans, we can take things personal and literally because I'm just like, he's just
Yeah,
acting. That's not legitimately how he is. I'm just like,
yeah, and I get a lot of people, like a lot of hate, which is cool because at the end of the day, that's what fuels people to push and strive to be better. And
right,
then for the people that do like me, I want them to like me for the right reasons as well. I want them to like me for the art and the dedication and the heart that I brought to wrestling. And I want it to transcend that this guy is giving his all in there. There's no days off. I love wrestling. Anybody that walks in here thinks that it's just easy peasy or they think that, whatever. Like, no, dude, this is like a lifestyle for so many people. This is something that I want people to turn around and say, this guy's doing it the right way.
facts. I mean, that's well said. Well, Raj, the floor is definitely yours. What's next for you? What do you got coming up? I mean, I know we can always see you on Impact, but what you got any independent dates coming up?
Mm. You know what, man? My independent dates in the States is gonna start rolling around August just because we're so busy with our Impact schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got I can't remember when I've got an agent, and he told me it looks like I'm gonna be going to Puerto Rico soon. So
Ooh, that
that's
sounds
where I want to
fun.
go. I love it there. I have a house. I have a house there. I have a house
Oh,
there, so now I
dope.
get to go visit. And then
Okay.
I will be going to Qatar or Qatar. Yeah, I got Qatar coming up in the end of May. And then I've got some acting gigs, so I have literally no downtime right now, which is cool because I like having that problem.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in the local circuit, like, I mean, it's kind of like a corny plug here, but if anybody ever wants to pay attention to what I'm doing or where I'm going to be next, my Instagram and my Twitter is where I share a lot of that stuff. So then they'll be able to see it's at True Raj Singh for both my Twitter and Instagram. And I'm posting my stuff there, having as much fun and being positive on there. So that's what's next for me, man. We got New York this weekend. Then I've got a week back in Ontario, and then I am back on the road with Impact again for Cincinnati, Kentucky. Then I go to Florida. I'm going to spend some time with the Maharaja, and then
Nice,
a
nice.
couple of my homies over there. Yeah, I'll see a couple of my
Hey, you
friends
should you
there,
should
and
help
then
us get him on the
we got.
show. You should help him get us. We trying to get the.
Yeah, I'll do my best, man. I'll do my best. I know
Nice,
that he has
nice.
a. He's restricted. He's restricted. He can't
Yes.
do everything he
Oh
wants
yeah.
to do. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. But I can dream. I can dream.
Maybe one day, you know what? Maybe have me on again, and I'll just make sure we arrange it that I'm
There
sitting
you
with
go.
somebody at the same time or something.
Nice. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, Raj, I mean, this has been a pleasure. We definitely got to do this again. Like I said, once you're on, you family. So just know, hey, we here for you. We're gonna look forward to just continue this building what you do. I mean, like I said, we watch you on Impact, but I love what you're doing outside of Impact, and I think that's the bigger picture. Is you're just trying to help the community around you and just building a great legacy of showing what hard work is and just making sure that kids and just people that need it know that hey, they got a place to go to, or and just be put on that right path.
Thank you, man. And I wanted to say I really appreciate you guys for having me on, man. Everybody, thank you for every one person that's listening too, right? Like it means a lot because you're going out of your way, and again, it's like how you said earlier, man. Like we want people to fall in love with wrestling all over again, and it's something that I hold close to my heart because I love wrestling. It's literally the first thing I think of and the last thing I think of before I go to bed.
Hey, I'm with you on that. Wrestling has got me through a lot of things.
Right on, man.
Well, hey, you got an Impact Wrestling fan here, Matt. He's saying Impact Wrestling all day. So,
Matty
and
Boggs, thank you, brother.
then our GM is he's giving you a shout out. He's just saying thank you. Like I said, you family, bro.
Hey,
So we
Josiah,
got you.
thank you, man. Hey, I missed meeting you, man, but for sure we'll catch up. We'll do it next time.
Yes, sir. And family, before we get out of here, when it comes to Ringside ourselves, if you're trying to figure out where we at on Facebook, Ringside Mayhem Podcast, on Twitter, RSM Mayhem Pod, last but not least, lovely IG, Ringside Mayhem Pod. But YouTube is blowing up and we appreciate y'all. Find us on either SSAW TV, Ringside Mayhem Pod TV. Click that notification bell, so you can stay up on all the interviews. There's like this one right here, all the clips, all the mayhem. And I appreciate y'all taking the time out to, participate and watch in. But till next time, tune in where all the mayhem goes down. Thank you. We out.